Oh my God, I love this intro.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, Fiverr. I got it off of Fiverr. Well, I had someone on Fiverr do it for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I sent them the pictures. But welcome to the BUTV. It is so
thank
happy
you
to
very
I'm so
much.
happy to have you here this evening. We are still celebrating Black Children's Book Week. You
Oh yeah,
are our, let's see, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today's
fourth.
Wednesday.
Yeah, the fourth.
Wow,
Yeah.
our fourth interview this week. Let me tell you, my week is just going. There are so many things on my schedule. I'm just doing everything. So I'm not even thinking about it. I'm showing up for the next thing. And this is important. I wanted to celebrate Black Children's Book Week by sharing different audiences. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sharing different authors
Yeah.
um, of children's books, especially children's books who have a Black protagonist with our
Mm.
audience in celebration of diversity and celebration of representation as we move forward Black Children's Book Week. So I'm going to read to you or share with everyone what Black Children's Book Week is.
Yeah.
Founded by Veronica Chapman. She's the founder of Black Children's Book Week, and it's a week to celebrate Black children and the people who make sure they are represented in their books and other media. Black children are negatively affected by racism, which can cause anxiety and fear and place unjust and unacceptable burdens on their growth and development. So we must all be intentional about making sure they
Hmm.
feel our love. And this
Yeah.
week is dedicated to this mission. So when Black children see themselves represented positively in their media, it fortifies their self-esteem and helps protect them from the impact of racism, which ties in exactly to my mission for Dear Beautiful Brown Girl, which is another
Yeah.
reason why I just wanted to celebrate this all week. How are you?
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Kudos to Veronica Chapman for putting this through. I think I first saw her post like maybe 6, 7 weeks ago. So
Mm-hmm.
to see it snowball and become this
Yes.
absolute monster and machine, I feel so proud. I don't know her, but I love the fact that she has gone and built something where we can not only empower and inspire young girls, but by amplifying the Black authors who actually write those books, we're empowering us, because
Yes.
if we feel empowered and inspired, we can then do the same for our kids as well and their kids. So
Yes.
this is something I think that's going to be generational and not just like a one-off thing. So I'm
Oh, it's
so
definitely.
blessed to be a part of this.
Yes, it's definitely going to be something. I believe this is her second year
Oh, I thought it was the
celebrating it.
first
I
year.
didn't hear
Okay.
about it last year, but like you, I heard about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I think everybody just really took up the charge of trying to come up with something to celebrate and acknowledge and build awareness
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Because you're not even in the United States.
No, no, I'm not. I actually live in the Netherlands, but I'm originally from St. Lucia, but I grew up in the UK. So I actually heard about this from a fellow author, Marva, who actually I did a live with earlier on today. And she was
Okay.
like, hey, you need to join this, you need to get on this, I think it's gonna be great, your story needs to be shared, etc. And we just got on, and yeah, Veronica was like, yeah, make it happen. Let's do it. The more the merrier. And in fact, I think she was quite proud to see it pushing outside of the
Yes.
US to make it even a bigger thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm really proud and pleased. And I'm also really happy that, you invited me to come onto this, because I think this was a short list of, what is it, 6 authors overall. So I feel really blessed and really proud and pleased that you've chosen me and my book.
Well, first of all, I love your book, but let's say that Black Children's Book Week is officially international. It's an
Yeah, yeah,
international movement, so that's amazing. But yes,
definitely.
your book. Let's talk about your book because I love your book. Do you have it with you?
I do.
Yes, and I was pronouncing it wrong, so I apologize. Can you pronounce it again? Her
Well,
name?
I don't mind. I personally say Ada, and that's only
Ada.
because the book is actually based on the relationship with my daughter, and
Okay.
her name is Adalia. But
Okay.
we shorten it. One of her nicknames is, we call her Ada, but some people say Ada, and I don't mind. But yeah, that's the background really about the book and the story. Um, the book is really like a sweet story which looks at
Hold it
the
up. I pulled
mother-daughter
it
bond
up.
that gets strengthened during their wash day.
Mm-hmm.
And I refer to this wash day as like a ritual. It is routine, but for me, the wash day, that moment between mother, daughter, or caregiver and child, is so precious. It's something that kind of spans generations. It's like one of the ways that women use to basically communicate with their child, communicate with their children, figure out what's happening in their life, and teach them how to look after themselves, how to groom, how to self-care, which they
Mhm,
can then pass on to their kids. And from what we know and understand, like self-care is like the first step to really feeling good about yourself. And
mhm.
for a lot of Black women, what we do with our hair, when we wash our hair, that's like one of our primary forms of self-care. So for me, it was really important to show that in the book.
Click
And
the
the
pages.
oh yes.
Yeah, share because the pictures are beautiful too. Like the story definitely resonates with me. But the pictures look like it reminded me of like scrapbook images. Like when you take different images and you create like a collage
Yes.
for a scrapbook page. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, I was really quite lucky actually to find this illustrator. It's an illustrator called Shireen. She
Okay,
actually lives in Egypt.
okay.
We've never met. We've actually not even seen each other in person. But when I was like putting feelers out, so how she would interpret the book, we just really connected with the vision she had for the book. And I think part of that is her being a mother. So she was able to really kind of show the connection between mother and child in a respectful way, and in a way that you can really feel the love and the relationship kind of jumping on the page.
It
Like, for
was so
example, if you look at the way like they're sat, they're always connecting, always facing each other.
mhm.
The way the mother talks to the daughter, it's really like on a level. There's no kind of talking down to kids, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I love this book.
No, it was super cute, and I agree with you when you talk about the ritual of like hair washing because
Yeah.
that is a thing. Like sitting down, getting your hair combed out, cornrow, parted, greased, done for the
Yeah.
day, done for the week, depending on
Yeah.
when you go through your routine. I remember getting my hair pressed, sitting
Yeah.
between my mom's legs.
The legs. Yeah.
Yeah, and getting my hair curled or rolled or cornrowed. So
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
lot.
remember that as well. There's something so comforting about sitting between your mum's legs or your aunt's legs or your grand's legs. It's like you're back there. It's like the one place you feel safe
Right.
and you can just kind of relax, slow down, relax, talk, communicate. And that's what I thought it was really nice to highlight in this book.
A lot of conversations happen.
Absolutely. Well, we know what happens when we go to the hairdressers.
I was
So
about to
it's
say, you can make the connection to even as an adult. Like
yes.
sometimes you share things with your hairdresser that you probably wouldn't share out loud because it's intimate when somebody's in your hair.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're really feeding into you and feeding into your kind of your view of yourself and your self-acceptance. Like when they show the men coming into the barbers and then they're done, they come out and their swag's a bit different. We're the same. When I'm with my hairdresser, I come out and I'm like, okay, no one can talk to me now. I'm feeling I'm feeling great here.
So you said I was looking at some of what you shared with me like pre-interview and you talked about how you transitioned from a corporate position and
Yeah.
then into becoming a children's book author.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I left my job in 2020, so that was July 2020, for a number of reasons. One, the pandemic.
Okay.
I was homeschooling my two kids in Dutch at the time, so having that corporate role, doing that was just it wasn't working because I felt like I had two jobs round the clock, and I was just burning myself to the ground. But I think for a long time I hadn't been happy there. So for me, it was a no-brainer to just be like, okay, I'm just going to remove myself from this situation. And I guess that's a whole nother topic for another day about Black women in the workplace.
Right.
But I thought, okay, let me just remove myself from the situation. And I was very lucky that my husband was very supportive, and he was like, you know what, it's not right for you. So just, just say goodbye to them, focus on something else, focus on your kids, focus on yourself, and then try to figure things out. So yeah, so once I left, I took a few months just to, just be, just to
Mhm.
feel it, go through it, and really just, yeah, homeschool my kids. And then I thought, wow, I've actually been sitting on these stories that I wrote like 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to do something with that. I have the bandwidth, I have the time, and I have some spare cash lying around. So yeah, let me try and do something. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. for myself, but also for my kids, because I don't want them to see me like I'm defeated. I've left work and now I'm going to be back at home. What am I going to be doing? Like, I really want them to look at me and think, even if something bad happens or things happen that you don't expect, you can always work it out. You can always pivot, you can always change, and that's okay. And so yeah, so that's when it was born, and I decided, okay, 2021 is going to be the year that I publish my first book. And
Mhm.
yeah, it ended up happening, and I did it, and I'm really, really happy.
No, I mean, and that's important. And I know a lot of people transition from the workforce
Yeah,
post. I can't say post pandemic because we're still, I guess,
kind
in
of
the
in it.
pandemic. But
Yeah.
I know in my profession, I'm a teacher, and
Yes.
I work for the school district of Philadelphia, and they're saying that teachers leaving, like our resignation rate is
Hmm.
200% higher this point now than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
So, you know,
What's the main reason behind the high resignation rates for teachers?
I can't say for certain. I can say I resigned.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the first time I'm saying that out loud, like publicly
Oh,
on a
okay.
forum. But I
Yeah.
resigned, but I'll stay until June.
Hmm.
But I just for me, for me it was I think I resigned for different reasons because
Yeah.
this is my 23rd year teaching, and I took a sabbatical at year 19 or going into
Hmm.
19 or 20, and
Yeah.
having that freedom
Mm.
was it was intoxicating, it was addictive, it was I didn't want to return back to the classroom because I felt so constricted because I've
Constricted.
been
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it for so long. And
Hmm.
then, like as a teacher, it's a lot. Like it's a lot of pre-work, it's a lot of post-work, and then you're working. It's your nights, it's your weekends. And when
Yeah.
I tasted that freedom, I felt like I was ready to transition and explore like other avenues. And then when I came back, we had COVID.
Yes.
And then when we came back from, virtual learning into the building, there were
Yeah.
just a bunch of things. And I just felt like if I'm going to leave, now is the time to leave. And so
Yeah.
I made the decision to resign. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I totally feel you on that. Once you leave the workplace, because I also took some time out a couple of times
Mhm.
when I had maternity leave with my kids. And then I also had a separate career break for like a year and a bit. So when I went back to this role, it was just, yeah, I know that feeling. I felt constricted, like being dictated to in terms of what time you have to come in, what time you can
Yeah.
leave, what you need to do. You can't go to your kids this, you can't see that. For me, I just kind of really had to really think about, okay, what are my priorities really? Because if it's making more money for this company, then yeah, it's not a priority for me anymore. So
Right.
it's really like, okay, I need to be here for my kids, especially because we live in the Netherlands. We have no family here. Neither
Okay.
my husband nor myself are from the Netherlands. So really, it's just us. And the most important thing is making sure that my kids have that solid foundation growing up. I
Mhm.
was quite lucky when I was growing up in the Caribbean because, I was surrounded by so much family and people who look like me.
Right.
And that's the key difference I noticed with the way my kids are being brought up. Because here we are in the Netherlands, and particularly in the area that we live in, my kids are usually the only black kids in certain spaces. So for them, they kind of get that othering quite a lot, whereas
Mhm.
I never had that growing up. So again, that was like another big push, another big why for me to write this book, so that my daughter can see herself and know that she's loved, she's seen, she's respected, she's appreciated. Because I feel like on some level there is a difference in the way that society treat black girls and the way they treat black boys, particularly because my daughter is, she's brown skin, she has, tight, kinky, coily hair.
Mhm.
And that's not like the typical mainstream image that people want to say, of black girls that you see. You tend to see more looser curls, longer hair, that sort of stuff. So for
Mhm.
her, she's always had this feeling of like, feeling a bit, I guess, not so beautiful. And also because her hair is so short, people always would say she was a boy. So that was always a source of frustration for her. So really, the book is celebrating her and her hair type. And this is one of the things, the conversations I had with my illustrator, because when we were kind of fleshing out the character, her first instinct was to draw this girl with like this big, bushy, curly, long hair.
Okay.
And I was like, actually, no, I want her hair to look like this. This is a deliberate intention for me, because I want girls who look like this with the short, kinky,
Right.
short, tight hair to also feel seen in books, because we don't necessarily see them like that.
Right.
So yeah, that was like a big thing for me to have that in this book.
I can relate to that because when you look at the BU crew members, if you notice, I have like the BU crew. Those are the characters
Mm.
and the illustrations that I carry throughout the Beautiful Brown Girl
Yeah.
project, and they're based on my nieces. And
Ah.
when they were first done, the one thing I didn't specify, because we just talked about brown skin representing Black girls,
Mhm.
complexion. And so when I
Mhm.
got one of my first characters back, I was like, oh no, 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 no. My niece is chocolate. Like I want her to be chocolate. This character has to be chocolate. And we talked
Yes.
about like just the representation, because I wanted my niece to feel represented. And of
Yes.
course, if I'm basing these characters on my nieces, then I want it to be true to the
Be
character.
true to her. Yeah.
It would be crazy to change her color tone or her skin tone.
Yeah.
Um, and that was just a oversight on our part when it came to communication. But my illustrator completely captured it and understood it, and was able
Yes.
to bring all of our characters and the variety of skin tones to life, because that's important. Like you said,
Yeah.
girls need to see themselves
Yeah.
represented. Was it hard for
Absolutely.
the illustrator to capture that?
No, not after we
The
discussed it.
Netherlands. Yeah.
No, well, she's actually from Egypt.
Yeah, I'm saying, but for you,
For me.
yeah, being in the Netherlands, was it hard to find an illustrator who could capture? I know she's in Egypt.
Oh, yes, yes, it was. It was a struggle for me. I went through two illustrators before I then landed on the third, and it was all about being able to draw Black people in a way that is not a caricature, and in a way that is appealing and cute and warm and friendly. And I know that sounds absolutely strange, but not many people can draw Black people.
No, I completely understand. Yeah,
So when I did settle on her, I mean, don't get me wrong, we had to go through iterations a little bit, but once we got there, yeah, we got there. Because the same with this character of Ada as well. The first kind of drawing, she was very, very light skinned, and I thought, whoa, this girl looks almost white-ish, or mixed, or but they're just not my Ada. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Black people come in loads of different skin tones, loads of different complexions. But for my truth, my story, I really wanted her to be chocolate skinned with that specific hair type.
right. Now I've read that you said you were number one in the bullying character category for 3 weeks on Amazon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
do you know what? Those Amazon categories are just baffling to me to some extent. But I'll take it. I'll take it.
But I learned the trick too. Because
Yes.
when you publish the book on Amazon, like when you initially put it up,
Mm.
what do you choose? I think you can only choose 2
Choose
categories.
two. Yeah.
But once the book goes live, you
Hmm.
can go in and email the help desk and add all the
Ah,
categories. So you can add up to 10 more categories.
note to self.
Yeah, like you can add up to 10 more categories. And so what I would do is I would look for different categories. So it's like, say I come
Yeah.
across your book, I would
Yeah.
scroll down to see what category your book is in, because I don't
Yes.
think there's a list of categories. So
No,
you
no,
kind
no. There is
of,
really tough. It's really
yeah.
tough. And actually, I've tried to change it, but the original two are still there. But to
Mhm.
some extent, the bullying category fits, because there is
Right.
an element in the book where she talks about the fact that she wants to have long, straight hair like her
Mhm.
friends, because yeah, people make fun of her because yeah, they say she looks like a boy and she has boy hair. Because
Mhm.
obviously, yeah, this is really like what my daughter looks like if she's just like a wash and go. Her hair is, up and short,
Right.
fluffy, she calls it. So then Ada will say, well, actually, so in her mind, this is what she thinks her life will be like when
Right.
she has this straight hair, la 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 la. But yeah, Mama tries to reassure her that actually, your hair is just beautiful as it is, and
I
your
love
hair is your crown, and you should feel proud of it. And yeah, that's what makes you you, and that's what makes you special. So I really love this image, and I really love this page. It's really quite like an affirming page for girls. Although I've never told anyone this, but when I was thinking about about the cover and the naming, I actually almost changed the name of the book to Ada's Crown instead of Ada's
Oh,
Wash Day. But this was always the first name, and I just thought, okay, this has been going on for 10 months now. If I do more changes, I'm going to do more and more changes. So I was like, all right, just stick with it and go. But in my heart, I'm still now thinking, I think maybe in a year I might actually change the name and change the front cover, especially when you look at what's happening now with the Crown Discrimination Act and the emphasis on stopping hair discrimination, particularly for kids in
right.
schools. I think that's going to be a bigger resonator, if that makes sense.
Listen, I think they both work. I like them
Yeah,
both. And when you show the picture of your daughter, so when I was in 4th grade, right,
yeah,
I had really long hair. And I used to wear it crazy. Like my mom would let me do it myself sometimes. And I had a Punky Brewster. I don't know if you know who
a
she
what?
is, from the 80s, a character. She was very eclectic. And
Ah,
so
okay.
I had a family member put a process in my hair that was supposed to make it like curly. It was called a jerry curl, like
Oh,
that.
Jerry Curl, yeah.
And she wasn't supposed to put it in my hair, but she did.
Mm,
And I'm only in 4th grade. I don't know how to really care for this style. And then in the
mm,
summertime, I go swimming because I had a pool, like a swim club in my neighborhood that I
yeah,
lived at. And so with the chlorine in this curl,
yeah,
it was a bad combination. And
yeah.
eventually all of my hair fell out to the point where my
Oh
mom
no.
just had to trim it. Even it
Mm,
was about this long, like
yeah.
all over, going into 5th grade, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so back then, I don't remember being teased, but I'm pretty sure I probably was. But my
Yeah,
mom instilled so much confidence. Like
yeah,
I didn't think that it looked bad. I thought I still looked cute. My hair was just short.
yeah,
And she would give me like different earrings to wear to brighten my face. And so I think a story like this is important
yeah,
because I mean, it was a book I could have used when I was younger.
yeah.
It would have
Oh,
benefited
yeah,
me, and what I was going through because all my hair fell out. Like,
yeah,
and now, I would have had this character that I could relate to, and she's being told she's beautiful and she's still
yeah.
important, and her hair doesn't make her. And luckily, I had my mom to tell me all of those things. But
Yes,
the more
exactly.
we hear it, the better. You can't
Yeah,
hear it too much.
you
So,
can't hear it enough.
yeah,
Exactly.
crown. So I think it would work, crown or wash day. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's
true.
definitely a necessary story.
No, I think probably it's just, like it's the post author, let me just like nitpick all this stuff.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. My first illustrator told me until you publish, you're going to keep editing your book.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I'm just going to stop
Yep.
now and we're just going to go. In fact, actually, when we published, we made it one error. They always say no launch ever goes perfectly. So,
Mhm.
I've done my pre-orders, I've launched, and then we realized that there's a bunch of errors still in the book. And I was like, like freaking
Oh
out.
my
And
goodness.
literally it was like, okay, we need to make these changes. It needs to be
An
approved.
error
It
like
needs to be uploaded. Hmm?
an error like a typo?
Oh no, quite a few of them.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. I experienced that. So what did you do? Did you publish it already?
No, we were doing pre-orders, and I
Okay.
think with
Okay,
with the timing, it would have gone live in like 3 days. So whatever anyone's pre-order would have gotten that. So literally, my publisher, I was like, okay, we need to get this done tomorrow.
good.
These
Right.
changes need to be through tomorrow. And then thankfully, I don't know, amen. I don't know how it happened, but they approved it almost instantly. And then luckily, none of the errors were in the final book. But yeah, there's always like a last minute hiccup on any launch, I think.
That's the beauty with KDP and having it done through their drop shipping model. because when I published my first book in 2013, I didn't use KDP. I don't even think KDP was around yet. And
No,
I
it wasn't.
got what was it? I think 200 copies, or was it
Oh,
2,000?
yeah.
I think it was 2,000 copies
Oh, that's expensive.
printed with a typo.
Oh, no.
Because the illustrator went in and she changed something, those
Yeah.
last minute edits. And when she changed it, something auto corrected, but it was wrong.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we didn't catch the error and it went to print and we didn't catch it in the proof. And somebody actually at an event brought it to my attention, which was even worse.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but then listen, Charlotte's Web has a typo. So
Yes, exactly. A lot of books have typos.
yeah,
Well, I'm still old school, and I was trying to read it on the screen, and actually, I can't see any errors. To me, it still looks perfect. But the
right.
minute I print it, I can easily just get a pen and like cross it out.
Yeah, that's true.
So yes, I think one of my big tips or lessons for any aspiring authors would be to print it, sit down, review it, leave it for like a couple of hours, and then come back to it and re-review your like edits again. And
Yes.
then you will find so many errors and so many things, which will save you a lot of money and some embarrassment.
I would even add, read the pages. If you're just reading for typos, read the pages out of order. Because
Yes,
if
actually,
it's
yes,
go
good
in the
point.
order that you expected to go
That
in,
you expect.
you're to catch
Yeah,
a mistake. Yep.
yeah, that's really good advice. That's true.
What else did you learn on your publishing on your publishing journey?
I think the biggest thing I learned was in the beginning, you have to decide like what sort of author you want to be. Like, do you want to go down the traditional publishing route? Do you want to work with an independent, like a small publisher, or do you want to do it all yourself? Now, lots of people do it all themselves. And I think doing it all yourself, especially for the first time, you have to think, okay, what am I giving up? Yes, you'll save money because you don't have a mentor, but you're going to go slowly and you're going to make a lot more mistakes and you're going to just maybe even give up due to overwhelm. So just consider like what you want to do. I wanted to go faster because I'd already sat on this book for like 4 years. So for
Right.
me, it was really important that I just got the book out there at least before I like changed my mind. So I found myself a publishing mentor, a small publishing company who basically would help me with all the back end stuff. So in the beginning, I wrote the book myself, and then I was working with the illustrator myself. Like really, we worked through it, the storyboarding, all that stuff. But then when it came to okay, how am I actually going to turn this into a final book? I was like, I want no parts. I don't even want to like know all this stuff because I don't know, because I also do something else. I'm also a business strategist and a coach.
Okay.
So I could not do it all. So I had to think, okay, I'm gonna outsource this specific part of it, like
Okay.
the uploading, the working with the designers, all that kind of stuff. I think the internal. So like telling them no, grammar dot needs to go here. That I didn't want to do any of that. So that was a big thing for me. So I think if you're the sort of person who wants to go quicker, you really want that support, and you almost want to get it right first time, then I would always recommend getting some support in some form.
Right.
And then I think thirdly, it's actually the point of publishing your book is actually the easy part. And I know that sounds so silly because you have all these things to do. But the minute you publish your book, it's then on you as
Yes.
the author to sell your book. And I think a lot of people don't actually realize that. They think, oh, it's up on Amazon, people are just going to buy my book.
Yeah. No.
No, 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 no. You have to drive the traffic to Amazon. You have to
Right.
drive it to this website. You've got to build your audience. You have to like create your own marketing strategy, and you have to basically present yourself to the right audience, to the right people who need your book and who want your book.
Right.
So I think one of the things I would definitely say is do a lot of foundational stuff first. I really think about, who is your book for, and what we were talking about, those categories. Where are you going to publish your book? How are you going to how are you going to distribute? So I published actually with Ingram Spark
Right.
and with KDP. So I did Ingram Spark first because I really want to take advantage of the global distribution network. And
Right.
also I think it's easy for like libraries and
Bookstore.
bookstores and schools, yeah, to then order your book. And then after I published with Ingram Spark, I think it was 3 weeks later, I then published also directly with Amazon but I didn't do the global distribution. So yeah, using that model, then all the Amazon orders would be fulfilled by Amazon, and then
Right.
the rest will be fulfilled by Income Spark. And I've actually found that's worked really, really well, because the one thing I will say about Amazon is a lot of people are actually moving away from Amazon for a number of reasons. But the good thing about it is the visible reviews. And if you're a parent and you're going to buy a book, especially from an unknown author, the reviews really help you to
Mhm.
kind of get a sense of what that book is like. I mean, obviously, reviews can be doctored or whatever, but generally, you can trust a review if it's on Amazon, because you know that person has had to have bought the book to
Right.
basically comment on it. So yeah, so think about that two-pronged approach, basically.
Yeah. So you were saying something. You had so much. That's very helpful.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
very insightful. And it's important, like you said, if you want to go fast, or if you want to go and not make a lot of mistakes along the way,
Yes.
it is definitely helpful to have like a mentor.
Yeah.
When you were publishing, what was your favorite part?
I think it was actually working with the illustrator.
That was my favorite part too.
Yeah.
It was like a
Because
gift every time you open up the email and you had
yes.
the review.
Yeah. And also, I felt like I was creating, because for a long time I'm working in corporate. I was using a completely different part of my brain. I
Mhm.
really had to keep it quite, formal all the time, that sort of stuff. But then moving into this and creating and thinking and imagining, doing my mock-ups on Canva and sending them over, I really felt like, I don't know, I felt excited again. And I really felt like I was, using my hands, using my talents, using my gifts in a different way. So that
Right.
was like the best bit for me. Yeah.
So where can you find your book? You said I know you use Ingram, so um
I
Walmart.
also use Amazon. My book is available on Amazon, Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
If you're in the UK, like WH Smith, it's on all the major online retailers space.
And do
I'm
you
not so
have a website?
much, sorry?
Oh, and do you have a website?
Yes, I do have a website, but I don't sell books via my website for a
Okay.
number of reasons. One, I'm in the Netherlands, so I think the majority of people who buy this book will be from the UK and the US,
Right.
and shipping costs are
Oh my goodness.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm not even about to to enter into that world. So for me, yeah, Amazon and all the other online retailers are best. I mean,
Regular.
obviously, you can make more money and profit if you sell directly,
Hmm.
but having to pay for shipping and packaging eats into that. So it didn't make sense for me. But I do have a website if you want to find out more about me, and a little bit more about my background. And I'm also offering additional services. So, like author visits, workshops, and I'm
Okay.
also starting to offer mentoring services. Like I said, I'm also a business coach on that side. So I thought, okay, how can I combine my two loves, which is helping people, but also like I love picture books. So I actually enjoy reading them myself with my
So do
kids.
I.
I have my favorite books. So yeah, so I'd really love to give back and help people in a way so that they don't get stuck in the same pitfalls that I was like 3 years ago, which put me off like going to launch my book. And
Right.
even now, I'm still learning so much about the launch process and how to get these things out there, etc. So I think I can really add value to someone who's basically starting out and wants to do that. Like I've been quite
Let me
fortunate. I
put
think I
your
sold
website.
around.
What is it? Let me put your website in the comments. It's
Should I put it
www.
in? I can
Oh,
type it
can
in.
you can type it? Okay.
Yeah. Dot littlebigstories.eu. Yeah. What was I saying? I think I was saying, yeah. So I'm offering mentoring services as well to help people,
Hmm.
and I'm actually working on a group program around this as well. Because then I
Okay.
think it'll be at a better price point for people who can't afford like one-on-one coaching services, and basically just helping people. Like I've created some templates, some resources, some writing prompts, and a workbook, so people can really build that base level foundational work that will basically help you sustain like longer term success and really kind of like pinpoint who your audience is, how you're going to sell to them, etc.
Okay.
um, and I think, yeah, I can help people do that. I think after my launch, within 3 weeks I'd sold about 700 books,
Oh, wow.
So when you look at the statistics that most people sell 100 or something, like self-published authors, I think that's quite incredible. So I really want to help people do the same, basically. There's enough room for all of us.
Definitely. Definitely. So what's next? Do you have another book coming out soon?
Yes, I do. I do. So back like 4 years, 5 years ago now, I wrote 6 books.
Okay.
I was in between, I was on a career break, and I don't know, I was just again thinking, what am I going to do with my life? What do I want to do? Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And one of my friends actually challenged me to write a book. He just released a children's book. And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. How do you do that? And he was like, you can do it. Just write it. Go ahead. So he gave me 1 month to write 1 book. And in that 1 month, I wrote 6 books.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Overachiever. so so yeah, so I'm actually currently illustrating book 2 now with my illustrator, the same illustrator that I used for Ada's Wash Day.
Okay.
And we're hopeful, well, not hopeful, we are working towards releasing it in July.
Okay.
It's my son has named it because his book is almost based on my son,
Okay.
and he's named it Gabby's First Day. So it's all about looking at his first day at school when he was younger. So moving from kindergarten to primary school or elementary school, I think you call it in the US. But the themes are all about, I guess, um, from the mom's perspective, feeling quite nervous. Her son is growing up, but also thinking, are they going to be able to take care of him and look after him?
Mhm.
My son didn't really have a good start to school, I would say. It was quite a challenge for him. He didn't really fit in the environment. And, when we look at how young Black boys are treated within the school system,
Mhm.
they are stigmatized very early on. So the same behaviors that might be considered childish, unacceptable for non-Black kids is kind of demonized and stigmatized with for Black kids. So
Mhm.
it's from that context and from that background that this story looks at. So you can get that undercurrent of the hurt and like kind of like the nerves that the mum is feeling taking her son to a new school where she's hopeful that things will be different and he will actually thrive and enjoy it and grow, and that they will basically help and support him in the way that he needs. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that book. But
Oh,
it sounds very heavy, but it's delivered in a way that's accessible for children and parents to kind of talk about and think about.
right. And I mean, I think it's important to have teachable themes,
Yeah.
or themes that can be discussed, um,
Hmm.
because then it just makes your book it, the center of a conversation
Yeah.
that can be had, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's with parents, like you said, like support groups and
Yeah.
things of that nature. And so I think books are, like I said, I've been saying all week, just great ways to make hard conversations easier,
Easier. Yeah.
to make experiences more relatable.
Yeah.
It humanizes, different experiences so that when we see ourselves, we can, I guess, relate and then like pull from the advice that's given throughout the story and the
Yeah.
messages and the underlying themes. And then as a teacher, I'm always looking for ways to use different books in the classroom.
Yeah.
What skill can I focus on when I'm using this as a read aloud or as a mentor
Yes.
text? Is it cause and effect? Is it
Yeah.
sequence of events? Is it problem and solution? So it's good to
Yeah.
have those things. And even though, when you write the book, it's not going to be so heavy, but it's just something that you see carried
Yeah.
out
In the
throughout the
background.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And well, like with Ada's Wash Day, I created a kind of discussion and activity sheet to go with the book so it can be
Right.
used in classrooms and even at home with parents. Because I know particularly how, we grew up with the kids. My kids went to Montessori school for a very long time. So a
Okay.
lot of their work was done also at home. And the way we'd always approach it is with a thematic way. So in like the toys that they played with, the books that they read, kind of rotating these things to form like themes so they can develop their ideas about certain things. So yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
So listen, what time is it? Where you're
It
located?
is 1:40 a.m.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for hopping on our BUTV live chat in the middle of your night to share your book with us during Black Children's Book Week. So I don't want to hold you too much longer, but I do have, we call it the lightning round, where
Yes.
I
Oh,
ask
okay.
questions. Yeah, it's always fun. And it's just, of course, we got to know you over the last half hour, but they're just fun questions. You can tell
Sure.
us the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, so texting or talking?
Texting.
Texting. I think everybody this week has said texting.
Yeah.
What's your favorite day of the week?
I don't know why, but Tuesdays popped into my head.
Tuesday. Okay. And do you have a guilty pleasure?
Yes. Korean historical drama.
Okay. Okay. Listen, my mom was watching Bolly movies. She was addicted to Bolly movies.
Okay.
What's a nickname that your parents call you? Or friends or family member?
Do you know what? I have so many. My sister used to call me Peanut when I was younger, and
Okay.
my mum calls me Pamper Chump, and I don't know why or where it comes from. Yeah.
No, that's probably like the majority of our nicknames.
Yeah.
How yeah. What's your favorite city?
That's a tough one. I don't know. My favorite. Do you know, I will just say Amsterdam
Okay,
because that's where my children were born. That's where we live. That's where also my husband and I got married in Amsterdam as well.
okay.
So I'll say Amsterdam for now.
And this one I like to relate it back to your book. Um, you have Ada's Wash Day.
Yeah.
So give me one of your favorite black girl magic hairstyles.
Okay. For my daughter, do you know what? I love the mohawk.
Okay.
So, with the Afro puffs, so like either in threes or in fours in the middle. My daughter loves that look. And I love it because it feels like, those Roman centaur, like the helmets when they're
Right.
going to battle, like they're ready for the day. It makes her kind of, I don't know, she always becomes a bit more erect, a bit more straight. She feels very strong and secure, and her hair is glorious and it's soft and fluffy. So I think, yeah, that's my favorite for her.
Okay. Okay. And I love anything with a puff. Anything with a puff is cute.
Yeah.
So where can we find you? Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram
Okay.
at underscore little big stories.
Okay.
Um, yes, I've chosen that one because I'd already used my name for my business coaching.
Okay.
So I created the brand Little Big Stories because I see myself developing a series or a collection of stories. So
I
in
like
my head, it's not going to be one, it's not going to be two. I'm looking 10, 12 books. And
okay.
also I'm thinking of even pushing my big dream, which I will share with you, is to push this out and actually translate it onto screen. Um, I
Okay.
think there is room, there is space for more Black TV shows, not necessarily historical TV shows or TV shows about trauma, but just show Black families, like
Right.
modern day, current Black families just doing normal, regular family stuff that children can relate to in the way that Peppa Pig does it, in the way that all these other,
Right.
shows do it. So
Right.
that's like my huge, huge dream.
I like that. Well, you put it out there, so it's going to happen.
Yes, manifest it.
Right, right. It was so great talking to you this evening. I appreciate you hopping on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Kathleen. It's been such a wonderful conversation. And
Yes.
thank you for amplifying not only my book, me, but all the other authors that you have selected to amplify this week. Your work is not going unnoticed. This is huge, like what you're doing. This is a selfless act, promoting other people and just, yeah, sharing all these stories with people that they may not like come across.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you so much for the
It's
time
been a great
and yeah, the
week.
opportunity.
We have two more interviews this week. We have an
Yes,
interview tomorrow. We have an interview Friday. Week is going by so fast. I can't believe it's already Wednesday.
yes,
Um,
yes. Well, for
you'll
me,
be
it's Thursday.
right. Wait, what did I say?
No. It is Wednesday for you, but it's 1:45
Oh, okay.
here, so it's
Oh, okay.
Thursday here. I'll be up again in 4.5 hours, maybe, when my
Yes,
kids
I'm gonna
wake
let
up to
you
go to
get
school.
some sleep. I'm gonna definitely let you get your sleep, and you can catch our replay because tomorrow at 1 a.m. you'll probably be asleep.
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah, I did catch the one 2 days ago, the replay. Not
Okay.
not live because it's quite late here, but I did catch the replay with Nia, I think. Yes,
Oh
Nia.
yeah, the triathlete. Yes, that
Yes.
was good. All right,
So I
so
feel
I want to thank everybody for logging on with us. And again, this will live on Facebook. This will live on YouTube. It'll also be on my website. And so this video, if you ever want to share it, you can share it from any of those links. But
yeah.
thank you everybody for tuning in. And we'll be back on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Thanks very much, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.